y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my brother,
JR.
and we are the R&B representatives. And today, we're happy to welcome a brand new face to the show, and that is My God Complex. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself and what he does.
Hey y'all, I'm My God Complex. I used to be DJ My God Complex, but I'm trying to lose that DJ in the front of it now. But we'll see how it goes. But you can find me on all the Grammy Grams and social medias if you type My God Complex. I am originally from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. Grew up with music in my household my whole life, listening to all my parents' stuff, the Isley Brothers and Marvin Gaye and Tina Marie. Y'all know that good, right? And so afterwards, I started collecting music as hip hop kind of came along. I'm in my late 40s, so that kind of gives you a time frame of what was going on, like when I was in high school or when I was growing up. And after going into service and coming back home, I took my dream job, which was running a record store. I ran a record store for about 8 years where I just got to talk about music and learn music. And then as I moved into away from the record store into corporate world, I had to figure out how to incorporate music in my life because it still is a thing. And that kind of led me into DJing and throwing parties. And once I left Detroit and migrated to Phoenix, Arizona, where I live now, I find myself a part of a bigger community of music heads here. And for me, my main thing is not only collecting music, but also teaching younger generations about different music. And so I am very glad to be here on the show. So thank you guys for the invite.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here. And how about you tell us what song you decided to pick today, and do you remember hearing it for the first time?
Yes. So the song that I picked today is Bilal, and it is Levels. And I absolutely remember the first time I heard it. So just to give you a little backstory, Bilal is probably, if we think about that whole neo soul, soulquarian movement, Bilal is the one for me. Like one of the things that I like about different artists, and I've always said that over time, I think the best artists are the ones that evolve over time and do different things. And so like examples would be like Marvin Gaye or Miles Davis or Prince, um, even Bob Dylan, if we want to think about rock, like in terms of him plugging in, and a number of jazz artists that have changed their style over time. And so when I think about art, somebody like Bilal, it's not formulaic for him. And so as much as I loved his first album, and I love it. I absolutely love the first album. But and then I love the unreleased album too, right? I love that one too. I'll tell y'all a story about that at some point. But when he came out with Airtight's Revenge, it was some other stuff. It was wild. At the time, I was into like a lot of like post-punk New York stuff and like getting my alternative rock bag in and digging into electro and all of these things. And so by the time, you get hyped because it's like, okay, damn, the second album got shelved. What is he gonna do next? And then I just remember the rumblings around the young internet blogosphere at the time where people were like, oh, Bilal is gonna put something else out. And I'm like, okay, what is it gonna be? And so I think Restart might have been the first single that I heard from the album, which I was like, whoa, this is crazy. It's not anything like what I expected. And so then by the time the album comes out, I'm diving into it. And the first song that really blew my head back was Levels. because it was also instrumental for at the time where I was again trying to figure out how I was still going to be a part of the music community in terms of moving away from my dream job, working a corporate job, still maintaining these connections with the Detroit R&B and hip hop community. Can't go out and party like I used to because now I'm trying to grow up, settling down, getting ready to get engaged, married, all of that. And this
Yeah.
song just spoke to me on
Levels.
so many different levels, right?
Oh my God.
So yeah, the first time I heard it, I remember sitting, a group of friends of mine, we used to do these things like throw a house party, and it was called we used to call it like a rum shaker. Not like a rump shaker, but like a rum shaker, because we was all drinking rum and we would grill out or whatever. And the thing was, you
Damn,
never
I wish
knew.
I was there, but go ahead.
Yeah, hey, we should just bring it back, right?
Yeah.
But like you never knew that Detroit is so small. It's big, but it's small. Like you never knew who was gonna fall through. So I remember being there and Batan would come through and sit and be in the kitchen, or YG would be there one day, or because we all were a part of the same community. Y'all had my homie Zoe on at one point, and like me and Zoe go way back to Detroit when he was in Gorilla Funk Mob. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
Zoe been on
like,
the show about 7 times.
yeah, I
7.
know, I know. But like, so like that, and this Bilal album is one of those albums that is indicative of like it was like a maybe 2.5 year period that this group of kind of misfits in the city, to be honest.
Okay.
We would all get together, listen to music, party, grill, support each other in life. And yeah, Levels is probably the one song that when I hear it, it takes me immediately back to that moment.
Oh man. I wish I was at their parties, but you're right, because it was a little upsetting about the Love for Sale not
Yes,
being released, and it got leaked or whatever, but it was like, what is Bilal coming with? Because now it's like about 4 years in now, and it's like, when
yeah,
is he gonna come out with a new record? But then when I heard Restart, I was like, oh, this some garbage band type of
yeah,
flavor. Like I was like, what? Whoa! Like this is different. But again, I was like, Bilal is that type of artist, right?
yes,
So when I heard Levels, I was like, ooh, I like this because I like the instrumentation. It kind of sucks you in off
yes,
the break. It was just like,
Yeah. It's that like kind of experimental jazz kind of going on, that
yes.
improvisational slash experimental jazz. And the intro is like 2 minutes
it's like 2 minutes
Yes.
long,
before
right?
you get a single note out of
Yeah,
his voice.
yeah. So
That's going
that was
on.
cool for me too to see, because I think, outside of maybe some guest stuff, or like if you had been to his live shows and heard him perform or seen him perform, he never really had recorded anything that was like in that avant-garde jazz lane at that particular time. So
Mhm.
to sit there and listen to the 2 minutes and just be like, okay, where is this going? What is going to happen? And then he comes in, it's just like, whoa. And by the
Mhm.
time you get to the end,
Yeah.
it's
And
like church.
Right.
and
Right.
it's and I also love, y'all know I love guitar. I love that the bass is in the front.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's the star of the show.
Yeah,
Until you get
Yeah.
Bilal start singing, that's the star of the show. Like
yeah,
that
Right.
bass is way out front. Other
yeah.
instruments, oh high, but the drum comes say hi every now and then,
Mom
but
come
it's
say
not
hi.
that
Yeah,
bass.
Yeah. And
yeah.
then when, with this is the album when I was like, if anybody ever does a Prince tribute, Bilal should be a part of it. And
Listen,
when BET was saying if they was doing a tribute, I said Bilal better be a part of this. Because
yes,
I was like, he is the guy that can really give you that. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And this
yep,
album really proved it, because as soon as I heard Levels, I was like, this is definitely on some Prince out of the pocket type of stuff.
yeah,
So I was like, oh, wow. So I was like, wait a minute. did Prince produce this? I was
Yeah,
like, because Prince love his, artists that ain't even on the map for real, because he
for
don't
real.
like, the industry anyway.
Yeah.
But, I thought, so I was like, who produced this? And I was like, oh, it's Shafiq. And I was
Hmm.
like, I know him from John Legend, and he did one of my favorite songs, which is Maxine. So
So,
I was,
oh my God. So yeah. So look, the same connection was for me,
yeah.
like because around the time, even before this whole Rum Shaker situation was taking place,
Mm-hmm.
you had Sire Creative Partners who was working with Kanye loosely, and then working with like, I mean, they was right there when the Jay Davies was hitting. It was Sarah, it was Jay Davy, it was all that LA right at the time, right? And so I remember Love for Sale, like half of it is supposed to be Sarah stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, if you go back and listen to Love for Sale, you hear them in that. Um, like Hollywood, they actually remade the song into their own song because it didn't get released on Love for Sale. But it was a Bilal song first, and then there's a Sarah version of it. So
Yeah.
Sarah worked with him for half of Love for Sale. So by the time we get to Airtight's Revenge, I'm hoping and praying that we just get a little bit of the Sarah in it. And
Mm-hmm.
then, like you said, when you see it's Shafiq that produced it, you like, damn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that set them, and you brought up that John. First of all, that's my favorite John Legend album.
Oh, so
Uh
you like another again?
yeah, I
That
like Another
okay.
Again. That's like
Okay.
but like that whole album, Maxine, like that's man, you preaching to the choir right now, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's when
another again. Yeah, another again was my end of my fandom of the music.
Oh yeah.
I can give you
That was
that.
the
Yes,
end.
ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the end.
I did.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I was.
mean, he was on a different trajectory at that point, and you see it throughout his career.
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
like, be blessed. You know, that's not for me, but be blessed. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You say yes. It's like you go ahead, be blessed and make back
Yeah,
money. Go ahead,
yeah,
you do you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He gave us 3 stellar albums, so I'll
Yeah,
take
you
it.
can't complain, right?
Right,
Yeah. So you know what?
right,
I'll take it because I do love the first 3 albums.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
So when I saw that he did that, Shafiq did it, I was like, oh man. And then that's how I kind of put music together, and that's how I kind of get, how it how I'm familiar with it, because it's like, oh, this producer did this. Oh, but they did one of my favorite songs on this album. So I kind of connect the dots, hey Brian, and I kind of connect the dots. So I'm like,
yeah.
okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, I
But
mean, we rabbit hole people, right?
yeah,
We
yeah,
we see a drummer on a track that we like the drums on, and we gonna go find every damn track that dude drummed on.
Elise is good for that one.
no, that's JR all day.
See,
I guess I guess it's all both of us. I'll take it.
right, right, right. So yeah, so then now it was just like the way Bilal really kind of attacks this song is so much, because it's still like y'all said, 2 minutes of the intro, you hear just the music of it all, and it's kind of like ding, 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 ding. It's
Yeah,
like a build up, yo.
Yeah, it kind of swells almost up to to a crescendo kind of situation. Yeah.
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 Even
So
when the
then I was
vocals,
just like, oh, and I needed to know. I was like, where was Bilal at when, like, what was the space he was in to make this record?
yeah.
So the research in me, I was
Oh,
like, I found how this song was made. Bilal was sick when he did this record.
hmm,
He was completely sick because he said him and Shafiq was gonna do a couple of songs, but he ended up getting sick.
hmm,
So he got on a plane. He got to Shafiq's house. He told him to go, in the one of his rooms or whatever. And Bilal was like, he was sick, like what? And after like 4 days, Shafiq was like, yo, we gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta come and give me something. And then he said he just came down there. He said, y'all, I had Theraflu, I had all type of drugs up in me. And I
hmm,
said, well, yeah, you were high, because to make a record like this, yes. So it's
yeah,
like, it made sense, because it's like the way he's attacking the record, the way all of this, and it was like on this song, and this is no dig, he's not giving a Bilal vocal like he normally does.
no,
You know what I
no,
mean? It wasn't a
no,
normal Bilal vocal. It was kind of like a okay, all right. And then to know that he was sick and brought this on there, I was
Yeah,
like, okay, but it made the song work.
it
It's
made it
like you
work.
like the song. And I love how Elise said this in another episode. Sometimes the way you attack a song is not the way you're supposed to attack a song. So
Yeah,
it's like, okay, he was sick. It wasn't meant for him to be sick, but it was meant for him to give that vocal so the song can work. Because if he might have been in full vocal, it might have been right. The song
yeah,
wouldn't have gave what it was supposed to. You know what I mean? So I was just like,
yeah.
damn, you sick and made this record, but he said he was high off meds. I said, yeah, you'll be high off this record if you
Yeah.
listen to
So, I never knew that, but it makes sense because the song is really giving psychedelica, jazz.
it.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's given that throughout the song, even when you get to the vocal performances and how he's real low at first, where you have to really listen to what he's singing, and then
Mm-hmm.
how everything is layered on top of each other by the
Yeah.
time you get to the end. Like, it's really given a psychedelic journey in the guise
Yes.
of like an R&B song. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Mm-hmm.
why I also think this is the album that probably scared away a lot of people
I
too,
think so
you
too.
know.
Yep.
But if listen, I've seen him perform these songs live and literally been mesmerized, like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? So it makes perfect sense with the story you told.
And yeah, because he said it was also like what he said, because he had the song done or whatever, but he came and brought it and kind of added all of that to it. He was like, it feels like it felt like a dream to him. And I
Hmm.
was like, when you said psychedelic kind of thing, it's kind of like you in this thing by yourself. And he said, that's how I felt when I did this joint. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And I'm so glad you said that a lot of people turned away after this album, to be honest, because then with a love's what is it? A Love Surreal, he
Yeah.
kind of went back to the basics
Yep.
again. It's like
Yep.
he kind of went back to the neo soul
Back to
vibe that
love.
everybody loved
Yep.
from him.
Yep.
It,
And
ugh.
I think with Love for Sale not being released, that album was kind of a bridge between that
Mm-hmm.
original style that he came out with. Even though I want to know, like, did y'all not listen to First Born Second? That shit's fucking weird.
Right. No, it's
Hello.
weird, but it's accessible because you got fucking Dre on it and rappers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely weird, but like, so this is funny, but I always gauge who likes what. So at the time when Firstborn Second came out, I was in the record store. So I'm watching and seeing who's coming in to buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the people like me who was into the slum villages or whatever from Detroit come in and buy it, I'm like, okay. But then when like the D boys come in, like the ones that's into gangster rap, and they like, yo, you got that Bilal, and I'm like, okay, they fucking with it too, right? And so they would come back in the store and they'd be like, yeah, that Bilal has some dope tracks, but shit, that one at the end when he yelling at motherfuckers and shit, that's too much for me. So I can't play that in my car, you know? And so, like, I'm watching because also as a salesperson at the time, or as a person who want to suggest other stuff to people, I'm like, okay, if this is too far for him, I'm not gonna give him this Van Hunt album because he never gonna fucking get it. You know what I'm saying?
Don't get me started on that. But
Right.
Please.
but the thing I'll say about First Born Second, it is definitely an album, and I promise this is not a dig.
Mhm.
It is a album that is a collection of songs. It is
Yeah.
not,
It doesn't
yeah,
sound cohesive.
it's
Yeah.
not.
No.
It just so happened every song, like literally every song is like a 10.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they
Yes.
don't, but that's what most people's first album is a collection song. Like you gotta show you gotta bring it all because you might not get a second chance, you know?
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
Um,
true.
so you got very accessible songs like Fast Lane, Love Poems, Soul Sister, very
Yeah.
accessible. But you also
Right.
got Queen Sanity, and you got,
Woo!
you got all of that. I always want people to say it right because they say he said Queen of Sanity in the song, but
Yeah,
the
they say
song is
Queen of
called
Sanity.
Queen Sanity, no of.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you get songs in that vein, and even sometimes, even though that's kind of almost accessible for everybody, but it, you know,
It still
but
pushes the limit a little bit.
it
Yeah, yeah,
does
yeah.
because at the end, all the screaming,
Right.
So
And that's why, like you said, that Love for Sale was kind of the bridge, kind of
Mhm.
preparing you. He did the joint in Electric Lady Studios. Like, if he's in that Jimi Hendrix vibe, that's what I
Yeah.
love when an artist, like when he did Cosmic Journey with Solange.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was different. Like,
Yep.
Bilal was different. That's just the artist he is. And I don't understand how people did not realize that on, first his first album for real. Because it's like, yeah, you getting the Dilla and you getting, the Dre and you getting
Mhm.
all that, but it still had like something, it was different. You know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
was like, I think they really messed up with not releasing Love for Sale. Because
Yeah.
then I think when, Airtight's Revenge, when it came out, everybody been like, oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it. It was a bridge. It went from the first album to Airtight Revenge. Everybody
Right.
was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Plus, it was a 9-year gap.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
oh, like,
Yeah.
especially people that's not music heads like us. Because we
Yeah.
heard Love for Sale. You know
You
what I'm
heard
saying?
it.
So we
Yeah.
kind of was prepared
We
for
was with it.
this.
We was ready. We was
We
like,
were
give us
ready for
more.
this.
Give us
So it was
more. Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like, it was like, oh,
Mhm.
restart. When I heard it, I said, oh, okay, Bilal was here. Okay, this is where we at. So
Yeah.
hearing Levels, I'm like,
Mm.
oh, I like it. I'm
Yeah, and
like,
then
this is
also
him.
like Airtight's Revenge, it's even like you got levels, but then you got like Little Ones, which isn't a
Yeah.
typical R&B song. You got like Think It Over, which is one of my other favorites. I almost picked that one, but Think It Over
Or
is
moving
like
on.
it's
Or
crazy.
move
Yeah,
on.
moving on. Like
Yeah.
it's all over. Like, but I do
Mhm.
think that it's way more cohesive than the first album,
Oh
Yeah.
uh,
yeah,
in terms
Yeah.
of a listen. Like it's
Mhm.
probably my top played Bilal album for sure.
Oh,
That's
wow.
tough.
Yeah, that's
Tough,
tough.
right?
That's, I'm like, whoa. Oh,
But I think it's my top. Listen, I'm the weirdo too. Also, we all weirdos, right? But
yes.
like, I'm gonna lean real heavy into the yeah, that's cool. You dig that because you heard that on the radio, but I ain't there right now. Probably sometimes to a fault. You know what I'm saying? I recognize it. But like, yeah, that's why I think it's my most play. And then also like that period, it was just me and my weirdo family like doing our thing together. So I think
Hmm.
that's probably why I latch on to it so heavy. I will say that it's my most played album for me in the house. As a DJ,
Okay.
I don't play it out as much as I play some of his other records. I should say that.
Well, this is also to 2010 where I was kind of getting a little sick of the radio.
Yeah.
This is like how me and Elise always say with the 80s, kind of coming from disco into the 80s, it was that experimental thing.
Yes.
And for me, I wanted that now.
I
You know what
wanted it
I
too.
mean?
Yeah.
I wanted people to try something different because everybody was on this EDM. That's
Yeah.
what was hot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I need something different. And this is where the radio was going. So you had a lot of our R&B artists doing that, doing the
Yeah.
EDM to get on, to be commercial and do all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no. So when I heard this from Bilal, I was like, oh my God, this is something different. But
Like
again,
there's a place for me.
yeah,
Yes.
like, oh my God, because I'm just graduating college too. So this is 2010. I'm graduating 2009. So I'm like, oh, this is something different. You know what I mean? Everybody is so concerned with what's playing on the radio. I'm like, no, y'all need to be listening to this. I'm like,
Yeah.
y'all need to be listening to Airtight's Revenge. Y'all need to be
Yes.
listening to like Move On and Levels, and everybody looking at me like,
yeah.
we're
And you know
good.
what? And a cool thing about 2010,
Yes.
2010 was Art Android. It was New America Part Two.
Yes.
Um, even
Yes.
CeeLo Green had an album out.
Yes.
Yes.
That's that's when we started getting the Jasmine, and it was
Yeah.
a lot of under the radar stuff to get. So you was
Yeah.
sticking the radio, you was in for a real treat because
Yes.
all the
Yeah, but even like if you think about it, like during that period, like even I think all it was, I don't know if I want to call it a renaissance in Black creativity, but like you had even the rap music, people was doing different stuff and was trying to there was the radio artist for sure, right?
Yeah.
But you had people taking chances, like some of the stuff that Kanye, good for better or worse, he was taking chances in that period. You know what I'm saying? And then like a lot of the stuff that I see that period as the time frame when Black folks, probably because of the internet, like at least the weirdos that I was hanging with, was also branching out and starting to listen to more LCD Sound System or the Rapture, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that like was probably college radio at the time, right? But we were starting to get more into college radio stuff. So Bilal, it fits right in. It should have been an evolution and people just kind of continuing that wave. And some, I like to say, I say this all the time now when I throw a party or something, because they're like, don't forget to invite all these people, so on and so forth. And I'm just like, the people who are supposed to come are going to come. And that's the way I feel about this album. The people who are supposed to know and love it absolutely know and love it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Like y'all said with the whole thing with because I think once Janelle came in with the Arch Android, it was different.
Yeah.
It made people be like, whoa, we need a little bit more of that. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, and then she wasn't as mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like she wasn't, even though it was like she gave an amazing body of work, it was just like, then you had CeeLo that came with the Lady Killer. Then you had, you know, this air type of thing. So we was getting that good experimental, good R&B progressive, if they're gonna say.
Yeah, they're gonna say progressive.
Right.
But I mean, the thing is, like as once one person does it, you, even if that person is not successful, then other people feel like, oh, I can try different things. And even if it doesn't work, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm an Erica fan but when those New Americas first came out, I didn't even get it immediately. You know what I'm saying? It took for me to grow into it. And so
look, I'm the biggest Erica fan probably on the planet. And I felt the same way. Now in New America too, that instantly I got it because it was a very traditional R&B record compared to her other music. Like it was very R&B. But New America One, Worldwide Underground, all that.
Yeah.
I went on them for some years.
Yeah.
But now I feel them different. I get where she was at and it makes sense and it comes together. And now I'm really paying attention to the lyrics.
Yes.
And so it's,
Yeah. So I think that being said, with Airtight's Revenge, the people that didn't get it, like I tell people all the time, like, yo, if you have an album by an artist that you love and you don't get it immediately, don't discard it, but set it on the shelf for 6 months and come back to it at a different time, because you may not be ready to receive what the fuck they talking about. You know what I'm saying? And some of my favorite albums, although Airtight's Revenge, I didn't have this problem, but some of my favorite albums, like the Eric New America stuff, is stuff that like I just wasn't ready for whatever reason. I get in these rabbit holes. Y'all know how it is. And I'd be like, oh, right now I'm doing Brazilian jazz. Yeah. This is good. I'll get to it when I get to it. You know what I'm saying? And then I come back and be like, damn, y'all was right. This shit is like
Elise does that to me a lot.
and I was like that with the latest Solange album. I didn't get it. I listened to the first day out. I was on a plane headed to what?
We was going on our second trip. Yeah.
And on the day it came out, and so I was like, oh, I can listen to it on the plane, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Me too.
Little trickles. And then I've heard little trickles of songs. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I like that. And then I went back and listened to the whole thing in sequence, and I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. That was the same way. That's a perfect album. I remember because at the time, me and my Basement Tapes crew, we were doing a radio show on public radio here. And like literally it dropped and we was downloading songs and we was like, oh, we about to hit y'all with this. So we scanning through it in between like us talking or while we were playing something else. Like, okay, what can we play? What can we play? This all right. This okay. So I remember that night we played Alameda and we played Benz. And we was like, We gonna listen to this Solange album some more, y'all, Nick, and see if we can play some more next week. But like literally, like a week after that, I drove to Vegas and from here, which is like from Baltimore, it's probably like driving to New York. If we talking Carolina, I'm familiar with like Western Carolina because I lived in Greenville, South Carolina. So it's like
Okay.
driving from Charlotte to Atlanta, about 4 or 5 hours. Not,
Okay.
So I'm driving to Vegas and I'm just running it and listening to it. And my wife is in the car even, and she's like she's probably more of a Solange fan than me. And she was like, I kind of don't get it. Like the song's too short. Like you can't get into it. Right when it hit, it changed to something else. And I was like, let's just run it. We're gonna run it. And we ran it driving through the desert on our way to Vegas. And it hit. Something about it hit, like you said, Sometimes you just gotta sit with something. So.
Yeah, because actually, what originally brought me back and started listening to little things was somebody on their Instagram story was on a girls trip and they had Down with the Click as the music playing behind it, and I was like, "This hit, it's hitting the whip, like this song right here. I like this." And it's sitting, and I guess seeing a bunch of happy Black women, and it's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of made me start visiting little tidbits. And then once I finally listened to it all together, and once I knew because I listened to it, I was like, this is the vibe. I know what mood I need to be in
Yeah.
for it to hit. And then after that, I'm just going to like it, And that worked.
And I think that's what's needed for this Bilal record.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you might not be in that space. And I'm learning that after like 3 years because of somebody. And, because I will give a yes, you. Because she know me, like, I listen to an album and I'll be like, sis, I don't get it. I'm putting it to the side. Like, right now, I'm not. She like, you're not in that space to listen to it. Go back to it later. Back to it later. Then
Yeah,
maybe
there
about a
was
month
something
or so,
I said, go back in 6 months. And
yes. And go back to it later. And then I'll be like, Elise, this album is the shit. I was like, oh, what? I was like, it's the shit. And it's so crazy because I did the same thing with my mom with Airtight's Revenge. She loves Bilal. That first album, I'm getting sick. I never get sick of that first album, but she played the hell out of it. So it's like, and that's where I get it from, Elise, because my mom plays stuff over and over and over. So I'm like that. I'm sorry, I'm like that because I get it from her. So she played Firstborn second so much. So finally, when I got home and I was like, Mom, Bilal came out with a new record because she was still on Love for Sale. Mom, again, she's playing it over and over. I'm like, 4 years, we got a new album. We got something new. And when I gave it to her, she was like, I don't like this shit. She was like, what is this? I was like, Ma, this Bilal. I'm like, you love for sale. She was like, this is just too much for me. Like, she was like, it's too much. I was like, you don't like some of the songs? She was like, it ain't memorable for me.
It ain't
I
hitting.
was like, okay, cool. So then maybe
moms don't hold it up either. They gonna tell you it ain't hitting, bro.
She was very honest.
It ain't hitting
very honest.
out here in Detroit. They say you ain't hitting the Detroit hammer. That's what moms be like.
Yes, she was like, yeah. My mom's sometimes brutally honest. She hurt your damn feelings. I'll be like, damn, Mom. But she said she was home one day, and she was like, yo, I wasn't doing nothing. And I was like, yo, let me put in this. And this was like maybe 2-3 years later.
Yeah.
And she said she put in this Bilal record. She said she had her little wine. You know what I'm saying? Her little wine. And she chilling. And she said, Junior, I like this. I was like, now 3 years ago, I tried to get you to play this. And you shitting on me, like, for real. So now it's like, once y'all say that, it's the truth because my mom couldn't get into it. And she's such a Bilal fan. So for her, she wasn't in that headspace yet. You know what I mean? And I completely get it now because Elise does it to me. So I get it. You know what I mean? So it was like now she like loves it. Like, sometimes when she's in my car and it just, I have it on shuffle, whatever comes on, and maybe Levels will come on. You know what I mean? Or maybe Restart or All Matters comes on. And my mom, and she's singing along. Yeah, like she's singing along to it, you know what I mean? But before, man, that first time, and I'm in my room blasting it on my, y'all, we still had CDs then. I know y'all don't know what it is. but we
Yeah.
still had them. And I'm blasting it in my room, and my mom would open the door, and she would just give me a look like, "You playing that?" And I'm like, "You tripping? Like you tripping?" But now she likes it, so you make
Nice.
so much sense of just going away from it, and you might not be in the headspace, and now she loves it. So when I told her that somebody actually picked levels off of it, she was like, "I know you're gonna tell them what happened." I said, "You know I am." I was like, "You know I
Tell
am."
moms it's all right, because I be doing that shit too.
I was like, "You know, I'm gonna tell the story." She was like, "Oh, why am I not surprised?" I was like, "So get ready. When you see the clip, I'm gonna send it to you so you
Yeah.
know that people know you ain't like it." And I'm like, "You call yourself a Bilal fan?" She said, "Nigga,
That's
please,
funny.
I am."
That's funny. So another
You
thing I want to
are?
talk about.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. I could go on and on. Listen, if you got stuff you want to ask it, because I just keep going.
Oh, I was picking up Johnny said, I am a Bilal fan. I was like, you are? It was a
Yeah,
song,
yeah,
Bilal.
yeah.
So, two other things. For like another thing that is during this period, also Bilal was like giving shit to remixers randomly. Like,
Yes.
go
Don't he got like
remix it.
19 remixes of this song?
Yeah, like 19 remixes of this song, right? And at the time, that was also like, damn, I didn't know we could do this with this. Damn, I didn't know this could hit this way. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I don't remember whose remix it is, but there's one remix where it's just all piano at the front, basically. For
Is
like,
that the Flower Lotus
yeah, I think
mix
it's
or
Flying
something like
Lotus.
that?
I think it's Flying
Okay.
Lotus.
Okay.
That Flying Lotus remix with the piano at the beginning, because you know how we were talking about how the bass was in the forefront of the record. Like,
Yeah.
it just did something different. Like, it's the same thing, but it was different. And so I also like that Bilal was just like, fuck it. I want 6 remixes to, because people don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying?
No, they
Right.
don't.
Right.
I miss the maxi single days, especially as a DJ, because then I can play my favorite song at all these different gigs where this is my song, but it may not fit this gig. But now Black Milk got a hold of this dollar or whatever, and it fits this other gig. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
So that's
and,
another
and,
thing that I
and the
love.
Uma do this one, or I could play
Yeah,
this to the
Yeah.
exactly.
to the
Exactly.
instant burning poets myself,
Yeah.
and I was in that time.
That
I was a whole stereotype,
was a whole stereo. Listen, I ain't
and
mad
I
at
was all of it.
you. I see the plants planting. I get it. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Oh child, but I had the lots. It was a whole thing. I was a spoken word artist. It was a
Yes.
whole thing. It was a whole thing.
Listen, we needed that to get to where we are now, though. You know what I'm
Very
Oh,
saying?
oh
true.
yeah.
What a
I love it.
time to be alive.
I regret nothing. That was a
Yes.
fun time of my life. That was
Yeah.
it was. It was so much fun. The music was so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
People knew how to just chill.
Yeah.
Everything didn't have
But
to
nobody
be
trying to shoot up
every
the parties for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. You didn't even have at those gigs, you didn't have because you know how they like put security on the black folk.
yeah.
Not at those particular type of gigs.
No. They like,
Nah.
oh, we got the cool blacks here tonight. So take the night off. Take the night off, security.
Right.
Oh, speaking of which, so this is related. So when Bilal toured this album, he hadn't been in Detroit for a minute. And then for all of a sudden he started popping up in Detroit a lot. But I hadn't seen him because when he toured Firstborn Second, he played like a smaller show and I missed it some kind of way. And so I, of course, through the power of the internet, I had the recording of that show. And I used to just run that shit all the time. And so then when what's the second album that got really got shelved? I can't think of what the
Talking
name.
about Love for Sale.
When Love for Sale, yes. When Love for Sale got leaked, I used to be running that. I was running it at gigs. I was running it in the store, and people would be like, "Bro, I want this," and I'd be like, "You can't get this unless you know where to look." You know what I'm saying? Like, I was playing it in public like it wasn't nothing. I have no shame or anything. Like
Oh,
most
we
people,
all were.
we all were.
Yeah.
So by the
Yes.
time he tours this album, he comes and he's playing at St. Andrews in Detroit, which is like St. Andrews is famous for it's 3 floors. The upstairs is like where it holds like maybe 500, 600 people. And then the downstairs is the shelter. And that's where like the rap battles historically would be. And like if you a small touring artist, you would play there to like maybe cap 300 or whatever, right? So he's at this show, and I'm like, oh, I'm not missing this fucking show, right? So I'm there. I'm in the front. I'm drunk as hell. I'm singing all the songs back to Bilal. I'm like in that mug talking about it's all matter, it's all matter. It was a mess. It was a complete mess, right? But the performance was excellent. And then after the show, because he hadn't been in the city for a while, he did like a meet and greet and a signing. And so he's selling the CDs at the time, and he's signing CDs. And I got to talk to him, and this was the first time that I met him. I've met him like maybe twice since then. But he was selling CDs. I was like, yo, I need a CD. I need to sign. He was like, okay, it's $20. I had one already, but I was like, fuck it, we're gonna get another one because we got to get the signature. You know what I'm saying? And then I gave him like $40. He's like, he was like, bruh. He was super chill and calm. He said, like, why are you giving me $40? The CD is only 20. And I was like, because I owe you money for how much I played Love for Sale. He was like, damn. He was like, that's the realest shit anybody ever said.
I love that.
He's like, I'm gonna keep this $20. I was like, you should keep it, really.
I love it. Love it.
It was hilarious. But like he gives like, he's my favorite, like of that period, probably my favorite live performer. Okay, I'm saying this, but I've never seen D'Angelo. But out of everybody else who I've seen, and I've seen pretty much everyone else in that period, he's my favorite live performer. If you even like, if Bilal just have a guest, if Mac Miller had an album, Bilal, and I like Mac, but I probably wasn't gonna buy this album or listen to it. But then I was like, oh shit, Bilal got a feature on it. I'm gonna listen to the whole album. You know what I'm saying? And see what this is about, to get to this Bilal feature. And so like, I live for all the work that he does. There isn't an album that he has put out that doesn't resonate with me in some type of way. And so I'm hoping that we just get more and more from him over the years, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Well, brother, we thank you for hanging out with us. This has been a joy. You have no idea.
What a joy.
Because you probably felt the energy too, so you do know. Yes, this was a joy.
Thank you. Yes, I had a great time. Get me on here talking about my favorite things in the world.
Yes.
I'm ready to come back whenever. You know, just let me.
Yes.
Okay. We gotta get you We gotta get you back to talk about a whole album.
Yes.
Okay.
So think about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I got it. It's in my head already.
All right.
The reason I didn't pick a song from that is because I can't pick a song from that.
Well, then yes, that's an album. Then
I don't know what your choice is, but I like it already.
Right. That part.
Oh.
But before we get out of here, how can people tell people how they can find you again, and anything else you want to?
Yeah, like I'm out here in Phoenix. It's not a lot of us Black folks out here, but the Black folks that's out here in Phoenix is Black folkin'. And you can find me on the internet. Instagram is probably where I'm at the most. I don't post a lot of stuff besides what I'm listening to, my record collection. And that's at DJ MyGodComplex. Listen, I tried the Twitters and I tried the all the other stuff, and I'm old and I don't want to learn nothing new. So Instagram is where I'm gonna be at. God willing, the creek don't rise, they don't shut it down, because I won't have an internet presence after that. But actually, I do have DJ MyGodComplex on Facebook too. So those are the two places if you want to catch up with me. I love talking about music. I love connecting with music lovers. Don't be scared to reach out. We gonna, if you want to DM me, like, yo, have you heard this? Or I really like that. I'm not gonna be uppity and be like, beat it. So yeah, come holler at me. And I'm definitely gonna get with y'all when I'm in y'all cities too.
Oh, please do.
Absolutely. And we also thank everybody who hangs out with us every Sunday and sometimes a couple extra days, especially our folks in the live chat. So definitely got to hang out in the live chat. It's a very good time.
Oh God, yes.
They are mess and we love it. Yeah, so like, I said share, subscribe. Yeah, share, subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Do all three of them or just or one of the three. Anywho,
Yeah.
I'm talking crazy. So we will catch y'all on the next Catch That.
Please, y'all.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that is my brother.
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives, if you didn't already know that. And today, we are welcoming back our dog, our homie, our brother in music, brother in life,
Yes.
and that is Darius. Hey, Pooh.
Hey, what's going on, family? How y'all doing? I'm Darius, of course, as they already said, aka Mr. Dress and Rest, and I'm excited to be back. This is something special,
Yes.
special. I mean, anytime that you guys ever invite me on your platform, I'm always excited and grateful because I know that it's going to be a good time. It's going to be days. It's going to be where we are really appreciating music
Yes.
and the
Because they
art.
live for our In Vogue episode. Oh, they live. I was like, what? I'm
Oh,
like,
I'm
oh,
glad. And they right here.
look
My
at
girls
that.
is
Look
right
at
here.
that. Look at
My girls is right here. Original four. Let's be very
Yes, right.
clear.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we're just gonna hop right into it because if people ain't don't know you by now, then they ain't never ever gonna know you.
Come on,
Right.
Teddy P.
Yeah, and we'll have you tell us about all the fabulous shit you have going on at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Because you stay in some fabulousness. But anyway,
Right.
what song did you pick to talk about today? And do you remember hearing it for the first time?
hmm Today, my song of choice is by none other than Tweet. It's from her latest album, her most recent album, her last project, Charlene. And the song is called I Was Created for This. And beautiful song. Of course, she wrote it. You have Craig Brockman, who is on the keys. You got Charles Barrow, who is the producer, and he's on the bass. He's on the guitar. I mean, it's a vibe. And if you know Tweet, and if you've ever seen her live, like she is a true musician. She's an artist, and I've experienced her live, and her set is, you could tell it's not really like rehearsed in a sense. It's just like, let's just go out here and have a good time. Like, of course, they know all the songs and where to go, but they just follow her. And that's what this whole album kind of gives. And I remember my first time hearing this, I had been listening to the album some years ago, but I remember I was in the car with a really, really good friend of mine, and she was playing this album out, and it got to this one song, I Was Created for This, and it just hit me in a different kind of way. It's so inspirational, uplifting. It makes you like reflect on whatever it is that you're going through, and you just think like, no matter what, like I was created for this journey that I'm on, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, and I know that there is a bigger picture in all of this. And one of the things that she says is, I'm going to help someone along the way. And that stuck with me like, Dad, like my story is going to help someone in some kind of way, a friend, family member, mentee, whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not this situation does not define me, and I'm going to be an overcomer of it so that I can be a help to someone else.
Reach back.
And
Yes.
like it just is when you think like listening from the very beginning, you know, like let me just pull it up for y'all real quick because I just got to get into the. She said so many times I tried to run away. I couldn't find rest because there was no hiding place. We try to run from our issues all the time. We try to mask them
Mhm.
with overworking ourselves, with, you know, hanging out, like going out, you know, drinking, whatever is your thing, your coping thing, or we just try to ignore them and we don't allow ourselves to feel and we don't face our issues. Where are you running to? Because wherever you go, no matter what you do, this issue, whatever you're feeling, is going to follow you.
That's right. That's
It's going to
right.
follow you.
Hmm.
And then it says, and I heard a voice come up from deep within say, "This is who I am. I no longer can pretend. I cannot pretend that I'm not okay. That I'm not okay. Like I cannot pretend that like things are all good. I cannot pretend like I'm not okay. You know, or I cannot pretend that something's not going on or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it comes back again and saying, and I was created for this. And she just says it over and over again. Like, think about it. How many people have tried to like take themselves out,
Hmm.
isolate themselves? Like so many, like it's just so many things. And this goes for any and everybody. And this song has pulled me out some of the darkest places, you know, moments where I'm not feeling well. I mean, like I can hear this song. It's like it, even if I'm not going through something, listening to it will put a smile on my face. It will
Yes.
encourage me. It will uplift me. And even the moments where I am in a dark place, it's the song that will bring out the tears that I need to release.
Hmm.
Because it's
Hmm.
just like, okay, like just trying to remind yourself. And granted, some things we may put ourselves in, right? Like sometimes you be like, oh my, how did I end up here? But that's okay, right? That's okay.
Right.
We will forgive ourselves. We got to give ourselves grace and be like, okay, I own it. This is what has happened. And now I'm gonna move forward. And I can't
Mhm.
keep beating myself up.
Mhm.
But, you know,
Yeah.
it's and it just feels good. This song just feels good. Like it just it's a certain kind of vibe. I mean, have you guys heard it, right?
Hmm. Oh yes.
Oh no,
Okay.
we don't like when we talk about this show by song. We don't know, child. You know,
I mean, I should have known. Of course, y'all should probably have to listen to it.
first off, me and JR live for Tweet. We are
Yeah.
Tweet fans. We ain't Southern Hummingbird fans. We are Tweet
Sweet. Yes.
Yes.
Every part of
Yes.
yes.
fans.
Yes.
And one thing I'll say about this song, I wonder if it originally, because it sounds like it to me, if it was meant to be either an interlude or an intro, and they was like, no, this got to be a whole song. Something about it feels bridging two things together to
Yes.
me, but they were like, nah, we gotta, nah, let's jam
And I
for
would not be
another minute,
surprised.
cause,
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that's what it was because Tweet is known for like her and her band just vibing, cutting
Hmm.
up, and then it becomes a song, and it's like, oh snap, let's add this to the album, or let's actually make this into something. Like a lot of her songs sometimes will just be like a jam session, just like creatively coming up with something, the band just flowing with her and her background singers. Like to ever experience her, like it's so authentic. It's nothing watered down about it. This is a real musician. I mean, it's R&B, it's neo soul, it's church, it's gospel, it's quartet. Like it's, I mean, where you can cut the band out and just let her and the background singers just go.
Mhm.
That to me, like we are missing it. Like that's real raw talent and feeling. And I would not be surprised if that's what it was. Like we
Mhm.
just vibing, you know.
And you
Mhm.
know what else? You know what else? With all the genres you said, you know what else she is? And not with
Folk,
almost say what she is.
folk.
She is a folk singer.
Yes,
Her lyrics,
Absolutely.
yes.
if you took, like you said, if you took the band out, but not the band, if you just took the
Everybody.
drums, if
Yeah.
you took the drums out of any of her songs, this
Mhm.
song, a whole lot of other ones, it's very folkish.
Yes.
Like
She
her
is.
coming in,
Like
I'm thinking,
bluegrass almost a little
yeah,
bit. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
because
Hmm.
before you came on, because I don't know, this song just put me in the mind of I wouldn't complain at all.
Oh,
And I was
see,
like,
okay. Y'all
when
going
I
that
heard
way
that,
with me.
I was like, that is a folk song.
Yes.
Whatever like rings, like come on.
Yes.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it, and
That,
she loved the guitar, so it's just like it yeah.
and that's crazy that you brought that up too, because when I first heard this song, the thing that I said, is this is her part two of Complain? Like that when I
Mm.
first heard it, I was like, yo, like, because one thing about Tweet's voice, it's so velvet to me.
Hmm.
And it just hits your heartstrings, yo. And like she said, shout out to We Sound Crazy, Timon, what's going on? And
Yes.
she was on the show. And she's that gospel quartet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you're not expecting Sweet to hit all these high stuff. She's staying low.
Hmm.
And that low thing, and I'm
But
learning
she
with
can.
Elise. But she can,
Hmm.
yes, she
Hmm.
can. But she knows her great area is that low register for real.
Yes.
And
The
when Elise
simplicity.
said, and I love, she has said it on so many episodes, these singers don't have to hit the high note all the time. They feel like
No.
that's performative. It's like it's
Right.
gonna get the crowd going crazy, not knowing that low. Look at Layla. Layla knows, like she stay low and will get you all the time. You
No,
know what I'm
seriously.
saying? Like, yeah. So when I heard that, I got chills from it anyway, because now anytime I play it, because I love Summer Hummingbird. That is my favorite Sweet album, but I listen to Charlene more. And
Yeah.
so when I play this song, it takes me back to when I started Junior's World of Soul. And when I was starting current R&B bangers, I was like, I heard this song and I was like, she said, you're creative for this. You're creative for this. And she was like, he gave me a song for me to tell the story. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, she's talking to me. But do
Hmm.
you not know? Yeah, I might have said it and I might have, but you know, y'all, I did not feel that I was created to do this until I got R&B reps with Elise. It's something that just like, even though I was saying it then, but now I feel it. I'm more of a feeling. Yeah, yes, boo. Yes, yes. I'm more of a feeling. So I'm feeling I was created for this because with her, you know what I mean? Because to know where we started with, like we
Yeah.
started with this joint from pain. Because me and Elise was really going through it. And then to have what we have and create this whole family that we got, Darius,
Yes.
you and everybody, it
Yes.
was like, yo, we are all created for this. And that's
Yeah.
why I just don't like the things like on social media where you see everybody kind of, you know, the shadiness that goes along with as far as R&B podcasts and all this. And I'm like,
And I hate it.
y'all, we do not do the same thing. We might be talking about R&B, but what, Darius, what you do, me and Elise don't do. What me and Elise do, you
I,
don't do. It's a complete
yeah.
different thing. And I'm like, y'all, this is R&B here at the bottom of the totem pole as we are, we need as many podcasts as we can get so people can understand, like, yo, we we need this right now. So for me, now when
Seriously.
I listen to this song, I'm like, yo, Darius, you were built for this. The no goofy, you were built for this. Like you were created this for this.
Yeah.
R&B raps, we were created to do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why now this song means so much more to me than it did
Hmm.
then. Like
Yeah.
I needed it then, but now
Yeah.
I feel it now. You know what I
Take your
mean? And
time,
then
Pastor.
Right, but Darius already had started it. I was
I
sitting here like,
receive
oh
it.
Lord, I'm sweating
You
because I
did.
was feeling what he was saying. Like,
It's so real, yo.
and when he said your shit will follow you, you try to like be like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm whatever. I'm gonna leave it there. That shit will follow you, yo, and it will
Yeah.
catch up to you, and it will finally just boom in your face. And I was just sitting there like, Darius, god damn, I got chills because that's real. Like it's so
It,
real. Like, and just Tweet, she's just awesome, man. And just to have a
And
song like this, oh
yeah,
God,
and I'm gonna
Lord.
go back to the lyric you were talking about um closer to the beginning
Mm-hmm.
of the episode, the part where you were like, I'm down in my mind, but at least I'm here. I'm gonna help someone along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to revisit that because when we do stuff like this, now we ain't the hugest podcast in the world, but one day. But what we do along the way, even in what we have now, we do help people. We bring young people on here, make them a
Yeah.
part of it. Like
Yeah.
we bring all our friends on the show,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you and Simone and like and Mark and Mark and all those people, and that helps them. It might help push their project. It might,
Yeah.
and then their
Yeah.
project pulls us. So us
Mhm.
helping helps us too. You
Yeah.
know, yes, it's great to help people and from a heart place, but also as an additive incentive, if you help people, it is gonna come back to you.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
That's
It
right.
will.
That's right.
Sometimes down the road, sometimes instantly. So just
Right.
why not? That's a win-win. You feel good, you're
Mm-hmm.
doing the right thing, and it's helping you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a this thing is one of those. I will say this. This song is one of those songs where like of course we have like from the Southern we have like the smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. But see, now that we get into Charlene, like I felt like we getting to know the real inside of Tweet. Like we get to know Charlene. Like, yo, I'm getting to my roots. You know what I'm
And,
saying? Like,
and she said that. She
yeah,
said
like,
that on the We Sound Crazy.
and the crazy thing about it is that I love Southern Remember. Oh my God. Like
Yeah, me
but
too.
but
Yeah.
Charlene is my favorite album by Tweet.
She
Like
said it's hers.
I know, and that's why when I watched her on We Sound Crazy, I teared up because I'm like, wow. For a lot of artists, sometimes it's always their biggest one that's like, oh, this is my favorite, whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for her to
Mm-hmm.
be like, no, like that right there, that's me. Like that's the core of me. And I felt that and meeting her, meeting Tweet,
Mm-hmm.
you know how you love an artist, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you meet them and they got everything and more that you could have
Mm-hmm.
been expected. And I've met some people, whatever, cool. But my brief interaction with her was so pure. It was so genuine. I never forget it. She was this was at like the when she was kicking off her tour for the 20th anniversary of Southern Hummingbird. So of course, and within the show, she's singing like her songs from Charlene and everything. And I went to see her in New York, the City Winery, and I'm up in the front, and she is killing it. I am in awe. Like I am in awe. Like it's the it's the whole vibe. Everything is on point. And it's at the end. And you can come up and meet her and have a wine bottle, whatever, because she was doing like some different wines. And I was honest. I was like, I ain't got the money to buy to buy the wine bottle, right? But I want to meet Tweet. I don't give a damn, right? I'm ahead this conversation. No, because I needed to let her know like how much she meant to me as an
Mm-hmm.
artist and her skill set and her music and listen how that Charlene album, especially I was created for this has meant to me. And she didn't sing it that night, mind you. So I say to her as I meet her, she's like, "Oh, how are you?" We hugging and everything. And first of all, she smells amazing, y'all. Just to put that out there, she just smells just young.
You're not the only one to say that. They
Like
said she
she,
smells awesome.
yeah, okay. Like she gives the best hug. She is warm. She is just like it's just like yes. So I had told her like I said, "Oh my God," I said, "I wish you would have sung. I was ready for this." And she leaned back and gave me this look like, "That's the song you want." Like that's the song. And I'm like, and I told her how much it meant to me, like it saved my life, da da da. And before I could even finish, she was like, "Are you coming back tomorrow?" She had 2 nights. And I was like, because she asked me where was I from. I said, "Well, I don't live here. I live in Baltimore or whatever." And she was like, "Come back tomorrow. I'm gonna leave 2 tickets at the door for you." She pulls Gabby over, our manager. I meet Gabby. She said, "Yeah, put him on the list. I want to come back tomorrow and we're gonna sing. I was rated for this tomorrow."
Nice.
I'm thinking she bullshit. Like, you know how you think somebody playing. Baby Gabby had texted me the next morning, was like, "Hey, baby love, tell me your full name, blah, 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 blah." Everything was fine. I get there and she gets me good. Cause I knew the whole set at this point. I'm thinking like, oh my God, like, did she forget? Like, is she not gonna sing it? And out of nowhere, she stops, and I'm texting Gabby like, "Oh, is she going?" Yo, I'm just nervous because I'm like, she's literally getting to the end of the show. Like, she's
You're right.
to sing my song, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, it's this song that somebody had asked me to sing, and it touches their heart, and it's one of my favorite, and it touches mine." And she said, "How many of you know that you were created for this?" Tears,
Oh.
like a baby. And she is, I mean, but she is singing it like her whole heart out. And when I say it wasn't a dry eye in the house, everybody was in there just crying. She held my hand. Like it was just a moment. Like I will never forget that. Like I don't gotta meet nobody else. I mean, of course I would love to, but I'm saying like I'm good. Like you know what I'm saying? Like when you think about
Yeah.
like music that has saved your life, music that has touched you, and for an artist to be like, "Yo, I didn't have it in my set tonight, but come back tomorrow. I'm gonna leave tickets for you, and I'm gonna make sure I add it to my set for you
Wow.
for the
Wow.
next." That to me, that's a legend. Like that's how legends move. Like that's how like
Mm-hmm.
when you do it for the art and to really impact people and influence, that is that.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet is
Hmm.
forever that girl for me. Like she,
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, thank you for sharing that story. Oh,
yo,
Yes.
she just
Oh, dang, I got chills again.
yo
Like, oh
because
my
like that
God.
song. Like I cried that whole night. Even when I got back to my hotel room, I just cried 'cause I could not believe like the song that had got me from out of so many dark places, from having those dark thoughts, those suicidal thoughts, from just feeling down, from letting people speak negative things into me and not believing in myself and thinking that certain goals were over or not reachable anymore, or just all these different things.
Yeah.
And that have them sing it for you, but like you right there, like in their face, and they're telling you, she flipped the words and said, "You were created for this." Oh, nigga. Um, like
I'd have been too through.
I'm done. Like I am done. Like
Mm-hmm.
you cannot pay for like that is yeah, nah, like ever hold a special place forever.
She lives for that. And she lives for that album too. Because she was like, it's her favorite because it was just about the music and that's it. It was no
Mhm.
politics, it was no none of that. It was just what she was feeling, and that's why she named it Charlene.
Yeah,
But she knows, I think she all knows that we all have a connection with Summon Hummingbird. That's just
yeah,
her introduction to us,
yeah,
whatever, whatever. And she was honest on some of those. But the politics of it all and the way we talked about with Timon on the show, like,
yeah.
oops, and Call Me don't reflect what that album is,
No.
like at all.
No,
You know
they
what I'm
just
saying?
needed
Like,
they just needed some radio songs.
it needed
That was
radio
it.
song.
Mm-hmm.
Charlene, all the singles that was released, Magic, You Won't Hurt Me, like, you know, all those things. The only real up tempo she got is Someone Will with her and Missy, but it still
Oh,
fits. It
yeah,
fits. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it
yeah,
was like, that's why she loves this album, because it's really her.
yeah.
And to end it with the song like that, I was creative for this. And then I'm not hating, but you got for her to sing that in front of you and dedicate it to you. Tweet is all right with me. She always been all right with me. For that story for you, that's how an artist is supposed to be. Hello,
And she
somebody.
didn't care that I didn't have a bottle of wine because the whole thing was you buy a bottle and then you can meet her or whatever. And I was up and I was like, I ain't got it. And she just laughed at her. She said, "You fine. Come here." Because
Because you
I'm just
gave it
like,
her real. You like, I ain't got no
right,
money
she
for no
said, "You
wine.
brought a ticket to the show. Like, you fine." I'm just like,
Yeah.
like to for her, like it's like it wasn't about the money. It was like, yo, this is a fan that already brought a ticket to the show. Like, I'm right here.
Mm,
Why not greet and embrace them? Like, what's the like? Yeah, like that to me was something I will always remember,
yeah.
always. And as a music head, and just the whole experience, yeah, yeah, she is definitely something very, very special. And I don't think that she gets the justice that she deserves because when
Mm-hmm.
you think about it, she is definitely referenced a whole lot, and duplicated and replicated, and like you hear it. Like, don't get me wrong, like of course we know certain artists like Brandy and stuff like that, and so like we know that they're all like referenced as well with like younger artists, but even the approach or the vibe that certain artists try to have, like your Summer Walkers and your Ari Lennoxes, and you're like, you can hear some of those tweet references and influences in their songs. It may not be sometimes always as deep as a tweet song, but as far as how it is delivered and certain things of that nature, oh yeah, you was trying to be the next Charlene, baby. I hear it.
I know
Hmm.
that.
We not gonna play neither. Like we not gonna play. Like tweet is a certain kind of vibe that you just need. Like, come on. Just like she adds a certain flair to a song, even if it's just on backgrounds.
Yeah, hello,
You know what I'm saying?
hello.
Like she
Even the
reminds me
Whitney
of like
Houston was
Faith,
like, I want her.
right? She reminds me of like Faith. Like you can tell when Faith on the joint. You
Mm-hmm.
can feel, you can
Mhm.
hear that
Yeah,
tone, you can hear that.
yeah,
You be like,
yeah,
oh baby, Faith on that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
just like I knew, and I was so glad that she admitted it. But I tell you, I've been knowing for years. I said I know that that's Tweet on Beyonce's song "Signs." I know that's her. I kept saying it for years. I know that's her in the
Yeah.
background. I know that is Tweet. I know
Mm-hmm.
because anybody doing that, like how you, because that's the part. It be like, I said, baby, I know, I know, I know. And when she finally put it out there, I was like, oh yeah.
It's like,
Mm,
again, Tweet's voice is so, you gonna know when it's there. You know what I
mhm.
mean? You can't help but, like, me and Elise was just talking about So Gone for a reason. And we was talking about that. Tweet is on that. Like, you
Yeah,
hear her. You hear her. The song wouldn't have had the depth that it did if
yeah,
Tweet wasn't on it. Like,
yeah,
Missy know her singers, dog. Like,
yeah,
she know what girls in need. Like, she said, she called Tweet, was like, son, I need you to come out here to get on my Missy So Addictive. I need you. Come
yeah,
on. I need you.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, Tweet knows voices and
And that pen game.
nothing to play with at
Out of
all.
here.
Like, oh,
At
don't worry, I got the bridge. Wait a minute, hold on. And
or
I'm gonna
she
sing the background on the bridge too here so it sound right.
hello. Or she give them additional vocals on Elise's one of Elise's favorite albums, A Seat at the Table. Tweet is all over that album for real. And
Yeah, she like
Solange know
seven
the
joints.
deal.
Yeah, she like seven joints, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, I
Yep.
know. Trust me.
Listen, when they come to Darius, you can't get nothing over on you. These, even if they not credited, you be like, nope, mm-mm.
Now where the check?
All the time I was
Now
like,
where the check?
oh, you right. I was like, Dad, you right. They was like, they wasn't credited, but I'm not stupid. Like I'm not.
Because like you shouldn't do people like that. And you know that without their influence or contribution or impact, like that song or record would not be what it is. I don't care how big or small. Like you cannot ignore like certain people. You just can't ignore. It's just like we know when you put Joe on something. Oh, baby, Joe gonna take that thing to another level. We already know.
Right, at least.
And it's hello, and it's to the
up.
point where it's signature. It's signature. Like
Yes.
from his vocals, from his pen game, his arrangements. You just know, like you even when you hear certain songs, like when you hear "Softest Place on Earth" by Escape. Oh, I know that's Joe. You don't got to prove it to me. You don't got to like I already know. That's Joe. When you hear Brandy, Angel in Disguise. Oh baby, that's Joe.
Oh yes.
That's Joe.
Oh yes.
He icy with that thing. Like you can't for real. Like you just cannot deny. And I just feel like Tweet is one of those artists that you cannot deny her impact, her sound, contributions. And you may say, "Oh well, it's just that one album." First of all, that's not true. But however, what an album! If you're going to speak on it, if you're going to
Tweet
reference
don't got
it,
no bad albums at all.
no, because people are like, "Oh, well, it's just Southern Hummingbird." No. However, if that's what you're saying is all that you know, okay, but that's a classic body of work. Not just singles. No, that's a body of work. It's a body of work. And now this may be jumping out the gun, but this is just my personal opinion. To me, now it did not get as huge of an accolade as this particular album, but to me, Southern Hummingbird was our, and we didn't, I don't think people had appreciated, but that was our new miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
Okay.
Certainly aged better.
Okay, they don't
Seriously,
want that combo at all.
I'm serious, like meaning an album from beginning to end, you can listen to. It is creative. It is a new sound. Like they don't sound like nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like it is just yeah. Cause no
And
shit.
we can
We
still
should
do it the same way live.
if not better, if you ask me, it's really better. It's better. So I just yeah. And I think because people were so stuck on that album that for some
Yeah.
people, unless you are a diehard Tweet fan, you may not have been able to fully receive the Charlene album or just promo, you know what I'm saying? Because we're
Yeah.
in a different time. When that album came out, it was in a different time. So the way albums are being promoted, people aren't really buying albums anyway.
Yeah. It
Either.
was
So that plays
2016. So
yeah, that was a whole
it was
different
it was hard. You know what I'm saying? As far
right.
as R&B anyway, how we talked about
Yeah.
today, it's hard. So it's like if you don't have that backing like
Mhm.
that, then you're not gonna get people knowing that the
Yeah.
album is even there.
Correct.
And in this day and age, even if you do have the backing, people's attention spans are different. People's priorities are different. So it's a lot of stuff people do miss, even with backing. So imagine not having it; it's even more of an uphill climb. Like
Yeah.
it's hard for everybody. It's hard for legends and people that actually sell. It's hard for them. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah.
being either independent or being a more low key artist. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But when you think about like she's still working, like she's in, in some of the other favorites, like they're not. You know what I'm saying? So when you really think about it, like she has and has continued to have longevity.
That's what it goes to show with this generation, because they're so concerned about sales. But our artists can go on tour and sell out. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
work. And work.
right.
Like
And
literally
Tweet,
work.
because you see Tweet, like, I'm always working. Like, I've always got a coin. I'm always can work.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why you really got to be about the art first, because if you have, if you're making a song that really touches people and your grassroots fans, your day ones is there and they're going to support you, they're going to follow you, that music endures. It has such a beautiful shelf life. It might not have sold anything when it was out, but it's bringing people to these shows, 10 and 20 and 30 years after it was out.
And you mentioned something really, really, really good, Elise, because when you think about this particular song, the whole album definitely with this song, I was created for this. This could have really went in so many different genres. Like she could have been nominated for country, bluegrass, folk, like all because that, and it sounds like songs that they would sing in that genre anyway.
You know how they do us.
You know, like no, like think about it. I could have easily seen her CMAs, her guitar. You know what I'm saying? Like just going for it. Because truthfully, think about it. If this was a white artist, this song would have been #1 for weeks. For weeks. For weeks.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
It would have been. It's beautifully made. The way it's arranged, the keys, the guitar. Like it is what? Absolutely. But of course, no one's thinking to put a black artist in those categories, though.
No, they don't want to put us in none of the categories of the music that we created those categories and did.
Louder for the audience to hear, please.
And the Grammys are tonight, and I stand on business on what I just said.
Yes.
Grammys are tonight. However, yes, like I don't. Yeah, yeah, and even with the Black award shows, like, come on, y'all ain't called tweet. You serious? That's a lady of soul, if you ask me.
Yeah.
She a real lady of soul.
Yeah.
Who can get on that stage and tear the house down.
Mm-hmm.
You give Tweet a 10, 12-minute set at the Soul Train Awards.
Eat it.
Nigga.
Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it.
Eat it.
Baby, she gonna turn that thing out.
What's 4 plus 4? 8. She would have 8.
She gonna turn it out. She gonna turn it out. She is. I'm sick of it.
She gonna burn this disco out. You hear me?
Oh God.
But y'all know it. Like she gonna have y'all up. She gonna have y'all crying. Like it's gonna be a vibe. Like we don't have to search far for people to acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't got like people act like it's like, oh my God, like, who should we honor? Who should we do? The list is there's plenty.
Plenty.
Y'all choose not to because it's all about who's popular, who's gonna bring attention, who's gonna bring ratings. If you just stick to the music and to the art, trust me, anybody that I would possibly name or drop, they have a following, they have a crowd. They gonna look, they gonna turn in.
Yeah. Yeah.
This child, this last little one that they had with it being outside, I was not too happy about that. I said, what is going on?
That was goofy.
I said, why are my girls
and they
outside?
actually have real singers on that, so why do that to
That's
them?
what I'm saying. Like, I said,
they actually had really great people on the lineup, and you put them outside in the wind. Who does that? No one.
No one at all.
One. That was goofy as fuck. Goofy.
So damn extra. I hated it. I hated it for singers because it's not good for them to sing outside.
and it's windy and it's cool. And then you bring on the
Windy.
legendary sisters with voices, and they got the wind blowing every which.
But you know what that was too? That motherfucking media training and all that. They still know how to handle it.
They still
You know
ate
what
that.
I'm saying?
Okay.
Anything that they were given, they know how to handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It
They
was
was
just
ready.
like because they look, ooh, my girls. Lord have mercy. Eat it, eat it, eat it. Gay was given singing rain. I was here for it. I was like, yes.
Hey, just the blowing. Yeah, I said, oh, this is giving you oof. Yes. Yes. I said we are in our legendary status now, girls. We're in our zen.
You can't escape that one.
Ooh.
What you got going on, and let the folks know about what you
Oh
got
my goodness.
popping, because you stay popping. So
Okay, so now okay. So now I'm back with the podcast. I've relaunched, rebranded. We're now called Brunch Buddies. So now it's in person. So I'm doing everything in person. You guys can follow my subscribe to my YouTube, which is Hardcore Glam TV. That's where all the episodes will be at. And you'll be able to see all past episodes of Soulful Sundays, as well as now the new with Brunch Buddies. And so Brunch Buddies, we just filmed our first episode
Starting off on fire.
last week with none other than founding member of Destiny's Child, two-time Grammy Award winning singer-songwriter Latavia Roberson. So she came on and it was awesome. We had a great time. I was at her event for her pop-up shop for her new cosmetic line, the Queen's Collection, which is under Bougie Lip Cosmetics. So that went awesome. I'm actually going to be helping her do another one of those, but here actually in Baltimore now. So you know me, always networking and getting some things going. So that's where I'm at with that. And then what else? Just finishing up school. We'll have some more interviews coming up, producing another show. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on, but taking my time. But yes, definitely keep up with Brunch Buddies. That is where I'm focusing in on at. I'm getting back to the music and the black entertainment and doing it in person. And y'all need to come on because I'm no longer just having artists. I want actual
listen, anything you want, we
knowledge.
here.
Because
I'll be
listen,
in Baltimore.
come on, because the fun part about it is Brunch Buddies is like a more glammed up version of a Drink Champs.
Listen, Darius, you pick up the phone, it's on. Like, it don't matter
Well,
to me.
we'll talk after we'll on a date. We would, you
Yes,
already.
We gonna chop it up.
And
you know that one? Oh, she get glammed up too? What?
Like, we get to chop it up. We gonna have food and mimosas, and we gonna sit on the couch.
Oh yeah, I'm here for
and we gonna
they don't want that. They
and
don't
we
want
gonna cut. And we gonna cut. And we gonna talk about no, like this is what I want because I feel like for me and with the platform that we do, like there needs to be a space where there are knowledgeable people, right?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
And I feel like, and I'm not knocking anyone, but I am noticing that on some of these podcasts, they are not as knowledgeable of the artists and of the music and of the, history as much as they should be. So it's like literally, and don't get me wrong, of course, as we do interviews, we do end up learning things, right? However, some things to me are just basic common knowledge that you should know. That's just me. However, I do want to highlight us because we know these things. We want to put those, those truths out there and give our legends and the people in the industry their flowers and their praises. And so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that here at Brunch Buddies and have a damn good time doing it.
Yes, we are.
Of course, you got Hardcore Glam, my production company where I produce shows, do runway training, all those good things. And so I got all that going on, and it's good. It's good over here.
yeah. Well, once again, we thank you And we thank all of our viewers who kick it with us, our family. You know, like, subscribe, share, bring us some more cousins so we can keep doing this thing and just, you know, we were created for this. Y'all were created for this.
Yes.
So let's just exist together and just make
Love
these things
yourself.
happen.
No,
Well
seriously.
said.
Love yourself. Love on
Love
yourself.
unites.
Nice. There it is.
Yes.
Music unites. So
Yes.
yeah, it's family.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Nobody can love you better than you.
You.
You, and you.
But guess what? But until you figure it out, I'm gonna reach back and I'm gonna help you
Along the way.
realize
Ooh.
that you deserve to be loved. I'm gonna love on you anyway, even if you don't like yourself. Guess what? You can't
Even
get
if you
rid
don't
of
like
me.
me. How about that? Even if you don't like me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna love you from a distance though, but I'm gonna hey.
yeah. But I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna help.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you figure it out. And when you figure it out, it's gonna be job well done for all of us. So,
That's right.
and we will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That. Peace.
Yeah.
Love, the family and cousins.